Hi everyone, my name is Elena. I'm a spiritual counselor, artist, and intuitive healer, and I made this video today to talk to you about how to understand anger. Now, anger is something in this society that we have tend to shy away from, thinking that it's not okay to be angry, which in reality, we know that it is okay, and I will tell you why. Anger stems from your lowest chakra, from your root chakra. This chakra controls your insecurities, your connection to the world. It controls your grounding. And essentially, the anger stems from this chakra. It's also the color red, which, as you might know, red is associated with anger as well. It's also associated with passion. And that's just a side note. Anger, it stems from this red chakra, and anger is a response of your body physically and mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's a response stemming from self-preservation, stemming from the need and desire to look out for yourself, to take care of yourself. And it's important to understand whenever you feel angry, why you feel angry. If there's a fear behind the anger, if there's something that you're trying to preserve from yourself, from your true self, for your body maybe, even for the ego, it's important to understand where this anger comes from. Because it is useful, you know? If there's a bear running after you and you're trying to run away, you're going to feel this same, oh my gosh, like the same intense need to accomplish something, to make yourself heard, to make yourself get away. You might run, you might climb a tree, you might, who knows, it depends on the situation. But essentially, this is an act of self-preservation whenever we feel angry feelings. But it's also important to understand the sources of our anger, to understand where they are coming from. Are you trying to protect something emotionally? Are you trying to protect an emotion? Are you trying to protect a belief that you've incorporated into your physical being, into your auric fields? Are you trying to preserve your physicality? Do you feel threatened physically by somebody? Are you trying to preserve your ego, which again kind of ties to a belief? Are you trying to preserve something non-physical that is essentially, it's a thought, it's a belief, it's a pattern? Are you trying to preserve something in that realm, or is it a legitimate concern that you might be dealing with? Is this something that is sourced from your ego, or is this something that you need to be concerned about? And anger in itself is helpful in any way. If you are trying to preserve your ego, you can recognize that and you can learn to move past the ego. You can learn to think, oh, well, I feel kind of angry because this person doesn't believe the same thing that I do, and recognize that that is the belief, and also be able to overcome that and recognize, okay, well, it's okay. They have a right to believe something that's different. That is their free choice in this world. We're all free beings, and we have the ability to believe anything that we want to. Each individual person does. Not just me, not just you, but each individual person has the ability and the freedom to believe that which they choose. And anger that is tied to egoic, centered desires or intentions may not necessarily be something that you want to hold on to anger. Because anger is part of stress. It's part, whenever you feel that fight or flight response, a lot of things happen within your body physically. Your digestion shuts down. Your reproductive systems shut down. Your blood might flow faster because you are wanting to get away. You are wanting to move at a quick pace. And this could cause heart problems. This could cause all types of things. It could cause headaches, Like I say, all your major organs shut down. Anything that is not necessary to your body to survive at that exact moment, it is in a state of peril, of I need to do everything possible to try to get away from this situation, or to try to fix this situation, try to preserve myself in order to feel okay, in order to feel safe. And it's important to recognize the issues, the things that could be caused from unhealthy amounts of anger, from sorry, my phone keeps going off. It's important to recognize how these angry feelings might be affecting you. Some people can literally become addicted to their anger. They're so used to feeling that knot in their stomach. They're so used to feeling that need to run, that need to preserve themselves, that they don't understand what normal, what peace feels like within, because they've literally become addicted to their anger. They've become addicted to the chemical responses that are let off within their body, within their organs, within their brain. You can become dependent on these substances, these chemicals, just as you can become dependent on other types of drugs, on drugs that are not good for you, on prescription drugs, on street drugs. Heroin is a very, very addictive drug that you can become drawn to very quickly, and you start experiencing withdrawal symptoms right off the bat. The first time that you use it, it has such an effect on your body that you can become addicted to it. And just as the chemicals that are released in your body, somebody may not understand why heroin is not good for them at the time, but another person might not understand how the feelings of anger are not good for them. They're not good for their body. They're not good for their relationships, for their communication skills. If you are willingly holding on to angry feelings, angry thoughts, if you are willingly keeping these ingrained in your aura, it's not good for you. It may serve a purpose at a moment. It may serve, anger is useful for some things, but it's important to understand when anger is being held on to and when it's not useful, or whenever it can be redirected more constructively to solve a problem. Like if you're angry at somebody you love, somebody within your family, it's probably more constructive for you to first recognize that anger and then come from a place of heart to express how you feel, to express why you are feeling this sense of self-preservation. It may be more useful to talk to the person and communicate in a more loving manner than to immediately walk up to them and start yelling and start screaming. And sometimes, not every time that won't work. It depends on how understanding that person is, how receptive. But in other cases, it could start a match between you where then you're both angry, you're both yelling, because now you're both upset. And who knows if that person is even aware that they've upset you. It all depends on the situation and what happens. But you can't assume that somebody knows how you feel if you don't tell them. And expressing from this place of anger is assuming that this person knows how you're feeling, of how they've interrupted your feelings of self-preservation or of your security. They may not have any idea, and it's up to you to constructively and intentionally let them know, but still do it and be your true self. Be loving, be kind, and be understanding, because you might not even understand the entire picture. You might not have all the facts or the information that you need to really understand the situation. And the best way to get all of those things is to communicate. But yelling is not a way to communicate, necessarily. Well, it is a way, but it's not necessarily the most ideal way or the most constructive way. So I just wanted to share this message with you about anger, about where it comes from. Whenever you do feel angry feelings, just sit with them for a second. Take a breath, take a few deep breaths, understand them, ask them where they came from, ask them what you can do, ask them if you need to know anything to help them to settle, and do what you need to do to release them. Release them into the earth, release them into the universe to be reused by Mother Nature, by the cycle of life. Because holding on to unnecessary anger can really take a toll on your being. We wonder why heart disease is so high in our country. We wonder why cancer is so high in our country, because people tend to hold on to these things. They tend to think that they are right and valid, and they might be, but it doesn't serve the person to hold on to feelings, to hold on to these things for a long amount of time. There needs to be some process of letting go, of understanding, to really move past them, to let them go, because then they store in your body and manifest as illness whenever you don't take the consideration that your emotions need. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to want to preserve yourself, preserve your body, your emotions. It's okay. It's all human. We're all human here. And we have these emotions. And that's great. Like I said, if you're running away, if you're in a life and death situation, you need those to help you survive. But it's important to understand when it's necessary to help, for these feelings to help you survive, or to let them go and just go through the process, do what you need to let them go, and then move on. Move on with your life. Move on being yourself, because no one wants to be angry all the time. We're happy beings. We're sourced from happiness, from pure bliss, and that's our true state. Here in this human condition, of course, there are other things that exist, but that's just part of the human condition. That's part of our lives. That's part of why we came here to learn, to grow, to feel what it's like to be human, to feel these different things, to be able to compare within ourselves how certain things feel. I hope that you've enjoyed this message. I hope this was helpful. If anybody wants to talk to me further, you can comment on the post. I have a website. It's www.crystalangelhealing.org. I do healing sessions, counseling sessions. I make crystal jewelry with healing crystals of your choice. I just received a bunch of meteorites that I am now working with. Very, very powerful stones. They are literally stardust, compacted and put into the atmosphere, come into the atmosphere from space. Very, very great stones. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.